Bum-ba-da-dum! Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host here on the website that teaches you how to play banjo and mandolin. This week is Guitar Week, and we're doing some cross-picking. Now, when you hear the word cross-picking, folks might mean all sorts of things, but today we want to be very specific. When I say cross-picking, what I mean is forward rolls using down, up, alternate picking, and a flat pick. Now, whenever we hear a banjo player doing those forward rolls, they're doing them with their first three fingers. And that's what we're going to do, except we're going to do it with a flat pick. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good pick hand workout as well. Now, I've got about 10 exercises that I'm going to run you through to get you going with this. And then we're also going to play this song, Boil Them Cabbage Down. If you're watching here on the website as a GoPick member, you have everything you need. Just scroll down on this page, see the rest of the video segments and the tabs and the MP3 jam tracks to practice along with. But if you're watching somewhere else, that's okay. You can come over to the website, BanjoBenClark.com, join as a GoPick member, get this lesson and many, many more. Let's jump right into some cross-picking. As I said, whenever people say cross-picking, they can mean all sorts of things. And today I want to be very clear what we're going to learn, at least in this lesson here. We're going to learn forward rolls. I love doing backward rolls too, but today's all about forward rolls and using that alternate picking. Now that gets interesting because that means we're going to have to cross over a string to continue our pick pattern. I want to break it down to its most basic elements for you, and then we'll continue to grow with these exercises, culminating into learning how to play a solo with it. Now let's go ahead and throw up the first line of tab so that you can see exactly what we're doing. Now to start off, let's just mess with our first three strings of the guitar. So just our third, second, and first, G, B, and E string. And if you'll see there in measure 2, I have one time through those strings. Now we're going to start with our down stroke. You see that little down arrow beneath the first note? Right there on the third string. Do that with me. And then we're going to do an upstroke on the second string. And then we're going to do a downstroke on the first string. So there's that forward roll. That's what a banjo player might do. And we're going to do it down, up, down. There's other ways to do it, but this is what we're going to work on today. Down, up, down. Now, if you continue that roll, you're going to end up starting with an upstroke, and that's what we see there in measure 3. Let's start there on our third string with an upstroke. Up, down on the second, and up on the first. Now, if we were to string those together, which we're going to have to do in measure 4 there, we're going to have 2 of them in a row. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And of course, what makes that difficult, or one of the things that might make it difficult, is after you go through that first roll, you play that down stroke and you're left to have to do an upstroke back on the third string. Crossing over that second string and trying to get that clean. So what we want to do, we want to employ our thumb joint, if we can a little bit. We also want to use our wrist. We don't want to do a lot of arm movements. And we want to get a little bit of this moving in there too so that that pick can flow over the second string and come back in for that third. So why don't you just pause the video right now and practice just on the first 3 strings, trying to keep that down, up pattern going. And here's what you're going to struggle with. You're going to struggle with wanting to come back to a downstroke on the third string. It's going to probably be against your nature to come back with an upstroke. So do it as slow as you need to, or follow along with me here. So on down strokes, we're going to get a down beat, we're going to have a downstroke. An upbeat, we're going to have an upstroke. So if I were to count it in 1/8 notes, it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a little quicker. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And don't get discouraged if you hit other strings at first. That's part of it, and that's what these exercises are going to be good for, is to teach you how not to hit those other strings. Let's look at the first exercise that I give you, because we want to be able to do these forward rolls through all the strings, using all of our different pick stroke directions. So look what we have going on right there in measure 5. Let's start all the way back down on the lowest string, the 6th string, and we're going to do this double roll, double forward roll through those bottom 3 strings. It sounds like this. Make sure to get those pick strokes right. And then on the 4th beat of measure 5, we're going to start that pattern over, except this time starting on the 5th string. into measure 6. And you guessed it, there on the third beat of measure 6, we'll start the pattern over, this time starting on the 4th string. Move to the 3rd string like we already know how to do. Back down now, let's travel back down the strings or up, however you want to think about it, to the 4th. Again to the 5th, into measure 9, and then ending up on the 6th string. Okay, so that's going to cause us to move all the way through the strings, build our accuracy, and get those rolls nice and clean. Let's play that whole exercise 1 together and try to get it as cleanly as you can. Don't forget that if you're watching on my website or on YouTube, you can slow this video down. Just click on that little gear icon in the bottom right corner of your screen. Oh, that's a great exercise, especially when you start speeding it up. Good stuff. Okay, now let's move our movements, or let's cause our string movements to happen just a little quicker. So this time, instead of hanging on a set of strings for 2 rolls, we're only going to hang there for 1. And that's what we see in exercise number 2. Pretty simple, right? Start down there. And then immediately start our pattern back over on the 5th string, but we've got an upstroke this time, right? Now move it to the 4th, to the 5th, or to the 3rd, back to the 4th. So you get through the strings a little quicker, don't you? Sounds like this. Now, if you can make it through that and make it through it cleanly, then you're really starting to get the hang of it. It's going to be difficult at first, but that's okay. We're laying the groundwork for our pick hand anyway, driving in that down, up, alternate pick pattern. Now what we need to do is we need to start adding some left hand stuff with it. So I want to work through a few chord positions on our left hand, going through each one of those exercises to really start to build the fundamentals and let them network together. If you're watching on the website, you just click on the next video lesson down below. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, I'd love to have you over for the rest of this very, very intense and valuable lesson on cross picking.